What's going on, everybody? Appreciate you checking in. Let's break down our Week 11 matchup against the Miami Dolphins. This is going to be a tough one. Miami is coming in 6-3, coming off a bye week, a big loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. We're coming in 5-5, coming off of two emotional wins, beating up on the Giants and a tough one against the Jets. So let's kind of break this down. But before I get into it, you guys know the deal. If you can, please like the video, hit the subscribe button, turn on those notifications. I definitely appreciate you guys. So let's kind of break this down, right? Let's start with an injury report real quick. So Miami's basically healthy. Xavier Howard, their top corner, he's back. Played against the Kansas City Chiefs. The Miami defense held the Chiefs, even though they lost. They held Patrick Mahomes to, I think it was only about 180 yards passing the entire game. So their defense is basically healthy. Their full unit is ready to rock. And then their stud running back, Devon Achane, he's coming off of IR. So you got Raheem Mostert and him in that backfield. That's going to be just a mess to handle with. And so Miami's basically up to speed. They're healthy again. On our side, Amik Roberts actually cleared concussion protocol, which is kind of surprising. So he's going to most likely suit up on Sunday. And then Colton Miller. Colton Miller, they're saying that he's going to suit up on Sunday. I think he might still be a game time decision, but check out my social media channels, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I will post the final injury report Sunday morning for all you guys to see. So check that out at Real Raider 805 on all the social media channels. So that's kind of the injury report. So let's kind of break this thing down, right? Let's look at Miami first. An interesting stat, right? Miami is 6-3. 6 of those wins have all come from teams with losing records. All their losses have come from teams with winning records. And so they're beatable. They're definitely beatable. And in all 3 of those losses, they scored 21 points or less. And so I have a couple keys to victory that I'm going to talk about that I think that if we can execute, we can hold this team. They have obviously one of the most explosive offenses in football, but I think we can have we stand a chance based on some of our strengths on defense. And so one thing that I will say about Miami is everybody talks about their offense, how explosive their offense is, so on and so forth. I think their defense is very underrated. Their defense is, again, like I said, they held Patrick Mahomes to roughly around 180 yards passing. They have their front 4 defensive linemen. They all have, I think it's 4 or more sacks on the season. Bradley Chubb, which is coming off the edge, he's got 6.5 sacks. So they come off the edge hard. And they got productive D linemen. Their linebackers are active, and their secondary is healthy. So I think their defense is going to give us some trouble. So don't underestimate their defense. Just because their offense is explosive, don't downplay their defense. And look, for me, when you look at our Raiders team coming into this game, our offense is our offense, right? Our offense is going to run through Josh Jacobs. We got to run the ball. We have a rookie quarterback that's still kind of getting his feet wet in this league, and so we have to play somewhat conservative to kind of get his feet wet in the beginning. But this offense is going to run through Josh Jacobs, plain and simple. And I'll have more keys to victory on that in a little bit. But most importantly, this is going to be hands down the biggest test for our defense. Our defense has not played too many good offenses at all, right? We've played the Jets, bad offense, Giants, bad offense, Patriots, bad offense, so on and so forth. We have not played really any good offenses. And so our defense is getting a lot of credit, which, look, if you're doing good, you get some credit. But we got to stay realistic. We're about to play one of, if not the best offense in the league. This is going to be the biggest test. So, I'm definitely going to pay attention to kind of how our defense produces and performs out there on Sunday. So, let me know in the comments down below. Let me know in the comments, what's your confidence level in our game on Sunday. 1 to 10, rate it 1 to 10. 1, we don't stand a chance. 10, we're going to beat up Miami. Let me know in the comments below what your confidence factor with us going into this game on Sunday. So, a couple of matchups that I'm going to be watching out for. We're going to have to run the ball, and one of the best lineman that we have to run behind is Greg Van Roten. Shockingly enough, it wasn't supposed to be that way entering the season, but he's actually been producing, over the last handful of weeks. And so, running behind Greg Van Roten was one of our successes against the Giants as well as against the Jets. Even against a good Jets defense, Greg Van Roten held his own. Well, he's going to have his task cut out for him again this week because he's going to be going over Christian Wilkins, and he's a stud D lineman. He is going to cause some havoc. And again, with Dylan Perham on the left side, struggling a little bit in the run game, I think we're going to have to lean on Greg Van Roten to really help us push that D line and make some holes and make some lanes for Josh Jacobs. So I'm going to kind of watch that matchup. Second matchup I'm going to be looking for is how we play Tyreek Hill. Every team has to watch out for him. Every defense has to know where he's at all times. And you're not just guarding him with one. You're going to guard him with 2 or 3, right? I want to see who we're going to match up with him. Is it going to be Amik Roberts that's going to try to bully him up, which Amik Roberts' aggressiveness could really kill him depending on how we play him? Or do we put Nate Hobbs on him? Nate Hobbs is one of our best cover guys, but we're going to have to, sit a safety on top, maybe bracket him. Throw a linebacker in on the inside, just really help out with Tyreek Hill. So I really want to see how we're going to guard him and minimize his ability to just get wide open. He's going to get open, but just minimize his ability to get wide open throughout the entirety of the game. So those are kind of the two matchups that I'm really be focusing on. And then let's touch on keys to victory. So let's talk on offense first, right? First and foremost, run the ball. We have to win the time of possession battle. We have to keep that offense, that Miami offense, off the field. We need to give our defense a rest because that Miami offense is going to be running all over the field, and our defense is going to do nothing but chasing them. We got to give them a rest. So run the ball, and run the ball with the same type of authority that we did against the Jets. Just pound the rock. Pound it at them and try to wear them down. Get the tight ends involved. And the reason why I say that is because, one, we just released Jakob Johnson, right? So we no longer have a fullback. So you're most likely going to see a lot of double tight end sets. Get the tight ends involved because a lot of times when you throw to tight ends, it's not 15, 20, 30 yards downfield, right? You're hitting tight ends a lot of times, probably 90% of the time, you're hitting tight ends, between that 5 to 8 yard range. And especially with the tight ends that we have, that softens up linebackers. That delays their timing on trying to get downhill to the running backs. You run play action, you're going to keep those linebackers on their heels a little bit. So if we can, let's say in the first half, I'd like to see us hit our tight ends at that kind of 5 to 8 yard range. Hit them 2 to 3 times in that first half. Soften those linebackers up, keep them on their heels, not knowing, do I commit to the run right out the box, which they're supposed to, but at the same time, they might see play action and they got to bail really quickly. So try to soften those linebackers up to make it just a little bit easier on our offensive line. And then first and foremost, and I know the turnover battle is always important, but we cannot give this Miami offense any extra possessions than they're already going to get. We have to minimize the turnovers. Do not turn over the ball because a lot of times, majority of the time, when an offense turns over the ball, you're basically giving that offense, the opposing offense, good field position. We cannot give them good field position, and we can't give them extra possessions. So take care of the football. First and foremost, Josh Jacobs had 2 fumbles last week. One was towards the tail end of the game. The other one, luckily, fell out of bounds. Secure the football. We got to take care of it. And now let's jump over to the defensive side. Number one is we got to get pressure into his face. Bring pressure up the middle, right in his face. One of the interesting stats is every time in all three losses that the Miami Dolphins have had, Tua's been sacked 3+ times. In every loss, Tua's been sacked 3+ times. We have to get in his face. Secondly, he, from snap to the release of the ball, he's one of the quickest in the NFL. So from the time the ball snaps to the time he releases, he's one of the quickest, which means he gets the ball out quick. So they like to run a lot of screens to Tyreek Hill. Then he gets the yards after catch. A lot of screens to the running backs. When the D line if you can't get there, get your hands up, bat the ball down. I want to see our D line get their hands up and try to. Tua's not a 6'5" quarterback. He's a short quarterback. So if you can get your hands up and bat that ball down, most of the time when these are short passes to screens and stuff, they're not lobs. He's not lobbing them over linemen. So you're going to have the ability to bat these balls down. So D linemen, get your hands up. This has to be one of the best tackling games we've had all year. It has to be. You got to minimize the yards after catch or yards after contact. This has to be the best tackling game of the year because they can get loose. They're the fastest team in the NFL. You let these guys get loose, they're just going to put you on their highlight reel. And they've done it all season. So we have to have the best tackling game of the season. Lastly, and both these kind of go hand in hand, you got to stay disciplined. Play disciplined football. Know what your responsibility is and execute your responsibility. Don't necessarily worry about everybody else because the moment that you think someone needs help, they're going to expose you in other areas. So stay disciplined on defense and have a short-term memory. The reason why I say that is because I've played against a lot of explosive offenses and I've coached against a lot of explosive offenses. They're going to get their plays. They're going to rip off a 30-yard run. They're going to rip off a 60-yard pass. It's going to happen. Have a short-term memory. It happens. Shake it off. Know what you did wrong. Move on to the next play. So I think that's the best thing that our defense can do is have a short-term memory and keep balling, keep busting your ass because they're going to get their plays. Shake it off. Move on to the next one. So guys, that's kind of my keys. Let me know in the comments below. What are your keys to victory? Do you agree with mine? Do you not? Please let me know if you disagree because at the end of the day, I'm not the end all be all. I'm just trying to share with you my opinion and I want to learn from you as much as you guys click on and just hear from me. So please let me know in the comments below what your keys to victory are. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Again, if you can, like the video, hit the subscribe button, turn on those notifications. I'm going to hit you guys with my instant reaction video Sunday after the game. Let's be loud. Our Raiders need it. We need this win. This would be huge, not just for this team, but for the new regime under Antonio Pierce and Champ Kelly. I mean, this would be huge for these guys, and this would be a great momentum swing going into these hard games in the second half of the season. So appreciate you guys sticking with me, and I will see you guys all Sunday after the game with my instant reaction video. All right, guys, I'm out.